The other biggest standout, and I mean, there were several, and I will give all of them their due diligence here this week on the show. And this guy deserves a major shout out after what he showed Duck fans in the spring game on Saturday. That's DJ Johnson, who has changed positions each year. He has changed numbers each year. He's been number 7. He's been 89. He's now number 2. And I tell you what, he showed a lot in this spring game, and it begs the question. Let's just get to the performance first, and then talk about the question that I want to ask, that I know you all have in your minds as well out there, because it was the number one thing that I was thinking. He came out there and he was flying off the edge. I mean, that after that big run from Seven McGee, yellow team tries to pound it up the middle of Sean Dollars. Boom, DJ Johnson, who's a big dude. I mean, a big dude, comes flying off the edge, shot out of it, can't just pop Sean Dollars, stops him in his tracks. After that play, I was like, whoa, I haven't seen that from DJ Johnson before. At least not regularly. Well, hey, that's a nice thing to see. And then the game went on, and he was just tearing it up. He was making plays in the run game. He was showing the speed off the edge. We know he's a big, strong guy. I mean, he was showing an array of pass rushing moves. And, Dan Lanning has been very praiseworthy of his abilities as a football player. And he said the other day, and coaches are often complimentary of their players, but not like this. He thinks DJ Johnson could be one of the best players in the country. He looked like that on Saturday. He was so explosive and instinctual, and just making plays in both the running and the passing game. And so here's a question that came into my mind that I'm sure all of you were thinking of as well. How the hell was he playing tight end? What was going on here? He did some nice things at tight end, and he was initially drawn there, I think, out of need. But has this guy just been sitting there for the last couple of seasons, mostly on the offensive side of the ball, as we have struggled to get after the passer outside of players named Kayvon Thibodeau? He's just been sitting there. I mean, I've been talking about for weeks on the pod, I have concerns about Oregon's ability to get after the passer in 2022. I still do. But I like their chances a little bit more if you can give me Braden Swinson on one side and that form of DJ Johnson. I mean, he was playing motivate. He looked like he was trying to show something to people. And this is his last year of college football. And I tell you what, he showed me something, because I've been a little, I'll say hesitant on the prospects of him going to the other side. I've, kind of looked at it as, okay, he's played there before. He can maybe make a play every now and then. Like, all right, that's all good. If he's going to play like that, and I don't think it was really an indictment of Oregon's offensive line, I just thought that he was really, really impressive. If he's going to play like that, it could be a huge boon to Oregon's defense, because he was just by and far the best defensive player on the field. Jackson LeDuc was close. He made some really great plays from the linebacker position as well. Not everybody was healthy on the defensive side for Oregon. Brandon Dorlus didn't play. I don't think Popo Almavai played. There was no Dante Manning as well. Noah Sewell, Justin Flo, neither of them played in this game. That's because we know what those guys can do. It didn't need to see him. But I tell you what, DJ Johnson, boy, he was a dude out there. I mean, that guy was flying around the field making plays, and I loved watching it, and on a day that was dominated by offensive highlights and offensive storylines as well, with the quarterbacks and the running backs showed some really good things. I thought DJ Johnson was the star on defense. I mean, he was in on a couple sacks. He had a couple other forced quarterback pressures as well. He was a force in the run game, just doing so many things. So if he plays like that, that's an advantage. That is an advantage for Oregon. And maybe he just needed this staff. Maybe there's something about this staff that's clicking. But he looked, at least in that game, like a completely different player. And I hope we get to see that version of DJ Johnson going forward. I appreciate everyone listening. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.